In this lesson, I'm going to show you a little bit about Nagios. Nagios is a monitoring system which allows you to monitor specific events that are happening in your environment. Nagios works with agents that can be installed on different assets in your IT infrastructure. In LPI 303, you need some awareness of what Nagios is offering you. So let's go over to the console where I can show you a couple of things about Nagios. If you want to take a Nagios test drive, you should make sure that you have the right repositories installed. So on a CentOS system or on a Red Hat system, that would be the EPEL repository. Nagios comes from the EPEL repository. You can see when I'm doing rpm-qa and grep on Nagios that I have already installed basically all the Nagios packages that are available. So that contains the basic binary and many plugins. Nagios plugins allow you to communicate with different assets and to monitor what is happening, for example, in MySQL or in HTTP or in whatever you want to do. Nagios is web-based, so you need to configure a password for the Nagios administrator. The command to do so is htpasswd-c etc nagios passwd, provided that we want to create a configuration file in that directory with the name passwd. And then we specify the name of the user. We enter the password. After you have installed Nagios, you just need to start a browser, and from the browser you go to the name of IP address of where your Nagios server is running. So that would be workstation.example.com/Nagios. And you can see that it's prompting for a Nagios administrator password. So that would be Nagios admin with the very secret password that I have provided. So this is the default web page that allows me to do monitoring of what Nagios is showing us. Now in this case, of course, there's not much happening because I have just installed it on one simple host and I haven't installed any of the plugins that are available. But still, this interface is providing a pretty good overview of the current status of your network. So we can see a host health and service health as well. Behind all this, there's plugin files that determine what exactly needs to be monitored. The dashboard is pretty good because it's giving a decent overview of everything that is happening. We can see a map view as well. This map view is normally providing an overview of your entire network. That is, everything that is monitored within your network. And you can hover over one of the items in a network to display details that are available about the item. Depending on the amount of plugins that you have installed on a specific host, you will see more or less information. So you can filter by hosts. If you click on hosts, normally you'll get a list of all the different hosts that are available. Or you can filter by services as well. And oh dear, you can see that right here something has happened with the HTTP service, a critical event. As you can see, easily we can see what has happened to the HTTP service. Now if you browse down, you can see that there is host groups, you can create service groups, you can filter on problems, and you can set some reports as well, which allows you to give an overview of the history of alerts, for example. So Nagios is a pretty rich interface that allows you to monitor for things that are not going all right in your environment in a pretty easy way. So the browser interface is an important source of information of what Nagios is doing. Behind the browser interface, there is configuration files that determine what exactly should be monitored. If you go to this workstation, which is also the Nagios server, we get into the Nagios configuration directory. And in there we find the objects directory. Now the objects basically are the scripts that are used to monitor specific items. Now the objects basically are scripts that are used to monitor specific items. So let's have a look at commands.cfg, for example. And you can see all the checking commands that have been defined here. So this is check local processes, check local users, check local swap, check local MRTG traffic. That's some kind of traffic. And all types of checks are defined within these configuration files. Now, the issue about monitoring networks with Nagios is to make sure that these configuration files or other information about what should be monitored is available on all assets in a network environment. And you can accomplish that by adding the Nagios plugins to the different hosts in your network environment. And this concludes our basic overview of how Nagios can be used to monitor what is happening on the network.